Hey, good evening. I am Annette and I am your host here at Coaching Me For You. I am happy to be here with you tonight. Wanted to get back on tonight because this is part three of a series regarding heartbreaks. And again, I want to remind you that I share and speak from my experience, strength, and hope. And that's what I bring to you tonight, my experience, strength, and hope. And so we talked about, when it hurts, what we do, how we do it, what it means to grieve, why grieving is important. And now let's just talk a little bit about, the wrap up and where this is, because sometimes, we're so hard on ourselves about so many different things, but mostly about breakups and heartbreaks and losing people and, coming back to our reality and doing the things that you see I have on my WWNBA shirt tonight, Women Who Mean Business Association. Um, and we had a meeting tonight, so I had to wear my shirt. However, I just wanted to follow up and talk a little bit about when our heart breaks and we're at the end of the road and we recognize that the person is gone for whatever reasons, no matter why they left, no matter how it happened, they're gone. And we've talked in the past two episodes about what we should do, how we should do it, how we have to take care of ourselves, why self-care is important, why accepting that the breakup has happened is important, why dealing with ourselves is important. And so tonight, I just want to talk a little bit about shortcuts. When we're hurting, sometimes, the easiest thing for us to do is to take a shortcut, to make it happen, to make it go away, to not deal with it, to do whatever has to happen to make us feel better. And that's not always the best way, to deal with heartbreaks, because a heartbreak is real. It happens. It doesn't go away just because, we're not feeling it at that moment. And I just want to tell you that from my experience, strength, and hope, getting through the pain rather than trying to end it was the best thing that happened for me. Getting through it, not trying to end it, just getting through it was what it took for me to be, in a good place and to be where I needed to be, to be healthy, wealthy, and wise. And at the end of that heartbreak, and heartbreak comes and it happens in many different ways, and I've shared about this before, and it's so important. Our hearts break for many reasons. Typically is loss, and no matter how the loss happens, it breaks our hearts. We could lose our husbands, we could lose our wives, we could lose our partners, we could lose our family pets, we can lose family members. Loss is loss. And what I found out from having a heartbreak from loss, losing a partner, dealing with death, a lot of death, in my family, with my family and friends, loss is loss. And the minute we recognize that and start to treat it as such and grieve it as such, we have a better chance of dealing with it. And dealing with it is, absolutely, what we want to do. We want to deal with it. It's not going to go away just because you don't think about it. The most important thing for me was to feel it, to absolutely feel it. And in order for me to heal, I had to grieve. In every situation where there was loss, I had to go through the grieving process. Nothing else got me to the other side except recognizing that I needed to get there and finding a realistic way to do that. And so, I just want to share with you tonight that shortcuts don't work. In other words, what's next? After the breakup, after you recognize that it's over, after you start working to ensure that you're going to be better in it, what's next? It's the grieving process. whatever it is, that's what's next. There's no timetable to grief. There's no time limit to, getting over something or somebody. When you love people, if you truly love them forever. You might not like them anymore, but you'll always love them. There's a part of them and a part of the space you shared, whether they left, they died, they disappeared, they ghosted, whatever they did, there's a part of them that you loved, and that never goes away. And once you recognize that, is you're better able to deal with the loss. And so there are no shortcuts. Just, go ahead through it. You can do it. Just go ahead through it. Take your time. Don't put any restraints on it. Be realistic about it and just do what you have to do. There are no shortcuts. There are no shortcuts. And the moment you try to take them and the moment you try to act as if there is, you are going to suffer greater consequences. I can assure you, much greater consequences. Go through it. It's okay. It's not going to kill you. I promise. You don't have to die. I want you to remember to moisturize your face, hands, and feet and hydrate. Oh, and mind your business. Minding your business is one of the best things you can do in any situation. And the second thing I want you to know is that don't judge your grief. Don't judge it. And don't compare it to other people's grief either. Okay? Don't judge your grief and don't compare it to other people's grief. People experience things differently. You might see somebody out after there's been a loss, and you might say, well, what are they doing now? They're supposed to be, no, they're not supposed to be doing anything except what they need to do to be okay. And you want to be okay. You want to be okay in this. And if you care about people, excuse me, if you care about people, you want them to be okay. And so for me, one of the best things my coach told me was not to judge my grief. That was a game changer for me because I didn't need to think or feel that I had to compare to anything, you know, that I had to be anything other than myself, that I needed to do anything except take care of myself, that I didn't need to be in a position where I let other people tell me where I should be, or I shouldn't feel this, or I shouldn't think that. That's not how grief works. That's not how recovery from grief works. That's not how recovery from loss works. It works the way you work it and how it best works for you. And so for me, I couldn't take any shortcuts. I couldn't judge my grief. I couldn't judge it based on anything or anybody else except what I was actually going through. And believe me, I went through some changes. And family and friends were very supportive. And, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing to have people in your corner who will support you and believe in you and trust you and work through things with you. But the greatest thing for me has always been facing that woman in the mirror and being honest about who she was, what she was, where she had been, where she was going, and what she was going through. And in being honest with myself about those things and not taking shortcuts and not judging myself and pacing myself, in a way that it worked for me, my life changed. I got better. I got better. Yeah, it does get better. It does. And I never denied what I felt. That's a big one. I never denied what I felt. I never tried to act as if, I didn't feel anything. I had to feel it. I had to grieve it. I had to accept what was. And that was hard. I'm not telling you that it's going to be easy. I'm not telling you that you're going to understand every piece of it. I'm not telling you that, there won't be days where you won't still cry, that it won't still be hard. It will be. But here's what I will tell you, it does get better. You do get to the other side. Now, here's some of the things we can't do if we want to heal. I've said often, I've been intentionally single. And by intentionally, I made a conscious decision to be single until I was healed from the inside out. Not on the outside looking good, from the inside out. I wanted to be healed. And in being healed, it meant that I could laugh again. I could look at people and recognize that they were human and so was I. I could look at things and go, you know what, that's not so bad. Things happen, it'll be okay. I had to heal because I didn't want to bleed onto anybody else. So, the number one thing in self care is not to get involved in another relationship immediately. There are people, tons of people, excuse me, who say the best way to get over one thing is to get another thing. That doesn't work. That's denial. That's not accepting where you are, who you are, and where you have to go. That's the shortcut. The shortcut is jumping into another relationship. And a lot of people do that and they bleed on other people, whether it's from death, losing a partner, divorcing, separating, losing a family pet, losing a friend. I've lost friends. I've lost friends and it was painful but necessary. Yeah, painful but necessary. And I know that no matter what happens, as long as I take care of myself, I'm going to be okay. And that's not selfish, that's sanity and it's self care. So tonight, I want to wrap up. I'm Annette, I'm your host here at Coaching You For You. I want you to remember that there are no shortcuts in healing from a broken heart. Don't judge the grief that you're in and that you have to experience to be better. Don't judge that. Don't be so hard on yourself. Take your time, take care of yourself, and recognize that you loved something, someplace, or something, excuse me, that's no longer there. That's it. They're just no longer there. For whatever reasons, it's no longer there. Take your time, grieve. Don't take shortcuts. A shortcut is jumping into another relationship. Even if you don't deem it a relationship, a situationship is the same thing. It is. It really is. Don't do it. It's not worth it. And you want to get better. And in order to get better, you have to take care of yourself. So, you know what? Be easy, baby. Just take it a day at a time. We all fall in love. We all fall out of love. We all have difficulties. And having had a great marriage, here's what I can tell you. Don't you dare look at married people thinking, oh, they're happy all the time. They're not. And anybody who pretends to be is simply pretending. Don't look at people in relationships thinking, oh, it's so great. I want that. Nope, don't do it. It's not worth it because people are human and, we all go through things in marriage, whether the relationship is good, better, and different. We go through things and it's okay. And when it's time to let go, it's time to let go. And I've let go of a lot and I'm grateful for it. So I'm just telling you that this is my experience, strength, and hope. If you want to get better, don't take shortcuts when your heart is broken. Don't jump into other relationships or situationships. Surround yourself with good people who genuinely want better for you. There's no alcohol or drug that can fix a broken heart. I saw an old friend or ex friend, whatever it is, some time ago, and I could tell that the alcohol was beating them up, just beating them up, and I felt bad for them. But when I looked at them and they looked up and I walked away, I was like, thank you, God. Remember, sometimes everything we want is not for us. So take it easy, be good to yourself. Don't take shortcuts, don't judge yourself, and go through the grieving process. A broken heart is just that, it's broken. And I want you to remember that I told you this because this is important. And when you're in it and you're in it to win it and you're feeling it and you're going through changes, I want you to remember this. You know how you might have a broken bone, and I shared about this. And when that bone is broken, you protect it, right? You protect it. You protect it so that it can heal. Do the same thing to your heart. Everything's going to be all right. Just take it a day at a time and do what you have to do. Love yourself through it. Take care of yourself. We'll see you again soon. Thanks. Annette here at Coaching You For You.